The following audio recording has been designed for learning purposes only. Do not share, distribute, or provide any type of copies, or this audio lesson will not be made available to you. Good luck with today's lesson.
Okay, you've got to customize that message, okay? Whether it's young people, middle-aged people, or older adults, you've always got to customize it. That's pretty blatant. That's a pretty easy example. But I hope you see that. And that's why you have to know who your audience is, okay? Now your book kind of breaks it down better, and we've kind of talked about it too, but let's see, how do I want to focus on this? What I'll do is, I'm going to kind of exercise too as first too, but let's just look at a few things, okay? One, we've kind of talked about race, not gender, religion, and such. Your book talks about race, religion, and differences and such, and we have touched on that. If you're talking to a group that's different race, different religion, different cultural background than your own, the only thing I'm going to add to it is I have a lot of students who say, well, if I'm going to be talking to a group, or if I have an opportunity to talk to a group that's different religion, different race, other than me, I'm just not going to give that speech, because the papers or media are so full of people who are putting their mouth in their foot and getting in trouble. So I'll just avoid it totally. And I wouldn't recommend that, okay? Because like we've said in the class before, it just takes a little homework. Just takes a little detective work. And audience and studies have found, and there's always a study, have found that audiences that are unlike you with a different background than the speaker actually appreciate that speaker even more when that speaker is from a different background and he or she has done some homework, all right? Has done some homework and has tried to incorporate that homework into his or her speech. Okay, we talked about that. So if you're giving a speech to, if you're from one religious background, and you're talking to one of an entirely different background, find out a little bit about that religion. If they have a holiday coming up, okay, maybe incorporate that somehow into your speech, all right? Studies, again, they appreciate that, okay? So don't run away from that. You just sometimes have to do your homework. Now, one thing I would add is, if you're not sure about it, run it past someone whose opinion you respect, okay? Do you think this might be offensive in any way? Do you think this is good? Always a good idea. Always a good idea, okay? But I would not run away from giving a speech if your audience is slightly different or very different than yourself. I would always embrace it, okay? Because one, it's a learning opportunity, and two, yeah, you can do some detective work, incorporate that information in your speech, and audiences do appreciate it. They really do appreciate it, okay? One thing we didn't talk about, your book doesn't talk too much about, is gender differences. Gender differences in your speech. And we're not going to talk about too much, but let me mention this. Here's the thing, it never works, but we'll try it. All right, Brendan, your house is on fire. Who do you call?
The fire department.
Fire department, okay. Jake, your house has been broken into. Who do you call? Okay. All right. Who delivers your mail? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that kind of worked. You said police department. Okay. A lot of times people say policeman. Okay. But now in this day and age, what can you say instead of policeman? Police officers. Police officers. Okay. Okay. Jacob said the cops. I guess you could just go with cops. But instead of policemen, say police officers. Okay. If you said mailman, that's the only one that's different. You could say mail carriers, but I found that even when people have had, we've had a female mail carrier for 15 years, and we still call her mailman. It's just, maybe it's a little alliteration. It just sounds like mailman. It just rolls off the tongue better or something. My point is, there's always alternatives. There's always alternatives. Is it a big deal? Probably not too much. All right. I mean, obviously, it depends on your audience. Would someone step up in your audience, stand up, and start screaming at you? Nowadays, maybe, but I kind of doubt it. But it couldn't hurt. You know, when you're writing your speech, it couldn't hurt to make it gender neutral. Okay? It just couldn't hurt. Now, back in my day, all right, the sisters taught us that if we didn't know the gender, all right, of who we're talking about, we always went with the male, all right? He's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing that. But what can you do if you're giving a speech to avoid that? That goes, he's doing this. What can we do to avoid that? They, yeah. It. Yeah, they, it. Probably, I'd go with the plural. And this is not talking about human, but yeah, the they, okay? Usually plural's good. Some people go with one, all right? When one is doing this, one's doing. The problem with going with one is that you kind of paint yourself in a corner if you do that, okay? Because once you start going with one, you can't switch over to plural, all right? So if I would say, when one is making a cake, one needs flour and this and this and this, and then one should go to the store and one should, and then it's like too many ones. So I don't know if I like one, two. The plural works. The plural works, okay? One thing you don't want to do is this. You don't want to go up there, and you don't want to say he slash she, he slash she, he slash she. What's he slash she? He slash she. And once had a student who throughout his outline had he slash she, because he was trying to, balance and everything. But throughout the speech, he said he slash she, he slash she. I thought I was speaking a different language, like he slash she, what was that word? So don't go with he slash she, just go with plural. It's much better, okay? Now, why does that make a difference? Well, let me give you an example. Gosh, it's been a long time now. But, well, first of all, is anyone here familiar with the Detroit Economic Club? No? You're okay. Yeah, it's a major organization, right? Bill Gates has spoken to it. Steve Jobs spoke to it. Warren Buffett spoke to it. Every sitting president has spoken to this group. It's a major business group in Detroit. And there's another organization affiliated with it for women. Okay, it used to be called the Women's Economic Club. Well, now it's called, I think, Inform or something. And my wife belonged to it. I remember one time she went to one of the luncheons. And it takes a lot to tick off my wife. Believe me, I've tried. Okay, it takes a lot to tick her off. And one time she came home from this luncheon really ticked off. I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, man, this one guy who was a speaker. She couldn't remember who it was. I wish she did. Major national businessman, business leader. Okay, and the topic was how to make it in business, how to be successful in business. Okay, great topic. Now, he's looking at an audience of like 95% women, at least 95% women, maybe more, okay? And his entire speech, he kept going. She said, a man should do this, and a young man should do this, and he should do this, and he should do this, and a man should do this, and he. At any point, did this idiot ever look at the audience and say, wow, I'm talking to women. I shouldn't say a man should do this, and he should do this, and he this. I'm like, I try to stand up for his gender, our gender, and say, you probably gave the same speech last week, and it's probably really good, and something you did something to change it or something like that, But yeah, he should have. He should have changed it. Looking at a room full of women, you shouldn't say a man should do this and he should do. He should have made it plural. That would make it easier. Should have made it plural in the beginning. Okay. So gender, it's not a big deal. If you don't make it a big deal, just go with go with plural. That's always the easiest. Okay. This is becoming a bigger deal now to me. All right. Age and life. Big word. Differences. That's differences. Age and life differences. This is the first generation. I read a study that showed that where parents very often have the same musical taste as their children. I don't know if that's the same as your parents. I mean, I don't know if your parents have. I'm not saying the same music, the exact same music, but they like some of the same artists that you do. I don't know if they do or not. But according to the study, it said some parents go to the same concerts as their kids, and some of them like some of the same artists as they do. All right. When I was a kid, the only thing I heard from my parents were turn that damn thing down, turn that damn thing. That's the only thing I heard from them when we were listening to music. They didn't like any of the singers, any of the artists that my sisters and I liked. Okay, not a one. I'll listen to a few of my kids. Okay, I mean they don't live at home, but I like some of them. I think. So my point is, this is not as big a factor, the age point. Okay, the age point as it used to be. All right. Because there is so much diversity in age and everything. People are living longer. And the whole stereotypical thing of, once you retire and get older, you just kind of sit in a corner in a rocking chair and just kind of waste away. That's not really the case anymore. All right? So I prefer to go with those life differences. What has someone done in their life? What's their background and such, okay? We talked about maybe in visual age and everything, there might be differences. Young people tend to like electronic visual aids, turn off the lights, use PowerPoint, use the internet. Older adults, all right, 55, 60 and older, keep the lights on, use the board, use the flip chart and such. That's simply how they were raised, okay? But this isn't as big a deal as it used to be, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? Now, keeping that in mind, don't come up here or don't give a speech to an adult living facility and talk about today's hip hop artists and rising hip hop artists, because that's pushing it. That's pushing it. Okay, but just be aware that the difference isn't as great. I want to talk about this because these are popular demographics. You usually find out about education, all right? And we think about education. Think about the education level. Okay, your book talks about finding out the education level of your audience. Here's the thing with that. How many people know someone who might have a really high advanced degree, master's or doctorate or something like that, but this person is dumb as a wall? That could be too.
I didn't know you were going to say that.
That could be too, all right. Boy, someone just lost some points. Okay. But anyway, I was going to use my son as an example, but okay. That's a little closer to home. But okay. But yeah, there's someone who's book smart, but not street smart. They're not too bright like that. Okay, they're not. You know what I mean. But how many people know someone who may not even finished high school, but they know a lot about life? Okay, they know the score. They know how to get along with it. All right, so that's my point with this one. Okay, if I'm giving a speech on how to grow a garden, how to grow an organic garden. Someone might not finish high school, but if that person has had a garden for all of his or her life, 20, 30 years, and just, they can grow, tomatoes off a sidewalk, I mean, they're just great. That person knows a lot, okay? I doubt if I can teach that person anything, but that person has a background that I can respect and I can teach to or talk to, okay? Whereas, if someone's got a PhD in, nuclear science or something, doesn't know, how to eat an orange or something, like peel an orange. Well, I don't know if I could teach how to garden to that person. They don't know where it comes from. They don't know anything. They don't know it comes from dirt. They don't know anything. That would be tough, okay? So rather than simply go by, okay, well, this audience has, has 6 years of post-secondary education. This group has this much. A lot of times, that's important, but a lot of times you want to know what's the knowledge? What's the knowledge of your audience? That's why going back further, when you want to find out about your audience, how much do they know about what I'm talking about, okay? How much do they know about what I'm talking about? Remember I said, where I did want to send a speaker, a dietitian, to talk about, how to reduce your cholesterol to an audience that had just heard it from a different hospital a month before. That's a waste of time. I have 2-3 people show up, okay? So finding out how much your audience knows is sometimes more important. It's the knowledge, I guess what I'm saying is, sometimes the knowledge is more important than the education, okay? So that's a key factor. I think it's a good time to mention here too, because this kind of comes up. Can anyone tell me what slang is? Yeah.
Short language?
It's short language, but it's usually short, yeah, but it's created language. It's language created by a subset of culture, right? Co-culture, usually by young people. All right, young people, or a region of a country. All right, region of a country. For example, what do we call that sugary carbonated drink we like to drink? Pop. We call it pop. What do those idiots down south call it? Soda. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. We call it pop. They call it soda. Some people that live down south call it cola or Coke. All right. Yeah, but we call it pop. That's the right way. Okay. There's regionalism slang, regional slang that a lot of people use, okay? But the most popular kind of slang is used by youth, all right? When's slang created? Well, usually when you're in middle school, sometimes high school. Why do you create it? So all other people don't know what you're talking about, all right? You're in middle school, high school, you don't want the principal to know, you don't want your parents to know, you don't want the teachers to know what you're talking about with your friends. Create language so they don't know what you're talking about. What does that word mean? What does that word mean? What does that word mean? And it becomes popular, and so you all, large groups of young people use these words, all right? What's the worst thing you could do if you're talking to like a group of young people? Try to use their slang, right? You just look like crazy, you look awful, right? So never try to do it. Now, another thing, here's the thing about slang, all right? They say language is a living thing. It's always growing, it's always changing. You know, if you've been out of high school for 5 years, 6, 7 years, if you went back to that same high school and used that slang that you were using back then, students now would look at you and say, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell? That's not language. That's, you know, you're old. Get out of here, okay? Language changes, all right? And that includes slang. Now, should you use slang in a speech? Can you use it? You shouldn't. Yeah, you really shouldn't.
I was going to say you shouldn't.
No, you should not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're using slang, if I'm using slang I used in high school, trust me, there's a big difference between my age, you know, and yours. You probably wouldn't know what I'm talking about. If someone even older than me was using slang in the speech, that you would know what those words meant. We're gonna have a little exercise to show you. Okay?
What kind of slang words did you have?
Boy,
Popular.
I forgot. It's on the
No,
thing. I've already forgotten, but it's on there. I mean, mine aren't that weird. Mine aren't that. You probably recognize some. But there are some here I've got from the 30s and 40s. You'll see. But I mean, but it does change. It does change. Okay, and you gotta be careful. A lot of times slang becomes so popular, it becomes part of the regular English language. And once it gets in the dictionaries, that's everyone's using it.
They all
Okay.
have it on the website.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just in there. Okay. So, but slang, you probably shouldn't use it. You really shouldn't use it. Okay, because age, you know, life experiences, life differences. That age group might not have, no, what the hell is that talking about? I've never heard that word before, okay? Now, that slang, you know what some of jargon is? Jargon it's very close to slang, but it's, I'm actually getting more people using jargon, which I don't know why.
Isn't jargon like phrases? Like more phrases than like words?
Well, it could be phrases. It could be phrases, but it's words too. It's more related to work. It's more related to work. Shoot, I always forget the term. 23, 20. Does anybody work in the food industry, a waiter? Or what does it mean if you want to get rid of a thing? 86. That's it. I'm supposed to number 86 it, okay? To get rid of an item, okay? And that's an example of jargon, okay? Where if you don't work in the food industry, a restaurant or something, you wouldn't know what that term meant. And every line of work has its jargon. The armed services have their jargon, okay? And every armed service, the Navy, Marines, Army, Air Force, they all have their own jargon, all different, okay? Engineers have their own jargon, okay? And I had students who worked at GM, and they had jargon. If your company is so big, you can have your own jargon. She worked at GM, and then she went to Chrysler, and she said, even though I'm in the same industry, GM was so big, their jargon's different at Chrysler. I have to learn it all over again because they're using words I never heard of. Okay? Good example is, I think they still show it on TV somewhere. There's a show ER where George Clooney got a start right up. The word stat. What does the word stat mean? Can you tell me?
ASAP.
Right now.
Right now, yeah, ASAP. Yeah, stat. Before, the general public didn't know what that meant. That was like a jargon term for healthcare. Then you saw it on ER, okay? Every week you'd see people in the emergency rooms, actors and actresses, playing healthcare people saying, I need the stat, give me the blood stat, we need stat. And then it started being used in the general vernacular, in society, I need a stat, I need a stat. And everyone started using stat, I need stat, right away. Well, then it wasn't so much jargon anymore. But that was a good example of jargon, okay? And again, no matter what industry you're in or go into, you're going to have jargon. Can you use jargon in a speech?
It's a filter talk.
You give the pound each to the people.
Yeah, that's what I say. Usually no, unless you're giving a speech maybe to the people in your industry. But then you got the example of the woman I said, who was at GM and the Chrysler. Then you take a chance, well, they might not know what I'm talking about. But if you're giving a speech maybe to people, your coworkers, and everybody knows, okay, this is the jargon, this is the language we use here, so okay, it's all right if I use it, then I'd say fine. If you know your audience knows those words and what they mean, then you're okay. But
What if you like define it, like in your?
If you define it, yeah. And even then, I wouldn't use it too many jargon words, because again, most speech is defining each word. But if you say, okay, this word, this is what it means, then it's fine. But I have a lot of students, and I don't know why, more and more students who are using jargon, and I'm like, what's that word? I've never heard that word. Or it's a word, but used differently in their industry. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I don't know what it means. So, but after a while, you start using these words just in your conversations, and you're dropping them in there, and it's like, to you, it doesn't mean anything, okay? It's like the time you go to a party and you see a bunch of computer people talking together, and it's like, I know that's English, but I still don't know what the hell they're saying, okay? Jargon, you definitely want to stay away from that. Okay, now we're going to do a little thing, just to kind of break up the mood here, and just to show you how difficult, you want to stay away from slang. Okay. Now you can copy off each other. I expect you to copy, but I want to go on to defeat the purpose. But these are examples of slang. These are examples of slang. And yes, I've got the answer, so I'll share the answer with you. But I'll just suffer a little bit. And these go back from the 40s to the 80s. And some of these you probably still use. Some of these you still use. So yeah, copy off people. But don't go online. Don't suffer a little bit, man. Let's see. I mean, I've adapted this through the years. Let's see. Do I have that? I don't have. Like ankle biters. I don't have that. Ankle biters is a good. That was from like the 30s, I think. Ankle biters were kids, little kids. Go figure how you figure out ankle biters. But I guess kids were hungry back then. But you can talk while you're doing it. You can steal off other people.
What are these slang terms?
That's what I'm saying. See, if you gave a speech. If you gave a speech, if someone from the 40s gave a speech and dropped these slang terms in a speech, you would wonder, what are they talking about? Ground grippers. You guys are very quiet. You can steal off each other.
Like armpit. Like armpit.
Houston's almost done.
No way.
Burning food, copy off him, man.
I only have like that.
Yeah, you just make it up. And, what do you think? I mean, none of these are drug or sexual oriented. None of it's I wouldn't do that. I mean, no, I only do it so that if they've taken on a new meaning, that's not my fault. But no, I made this G-rated. You can take it on and show your good experience. So.
Word from the bird.
Yeah, there's a back too. Yeah, there's a back. Back's much easier, isn't it?
No. The 70s is so hard.
70s is
I got
hard.
two. I got all the 80s and I think they're right.
70s, hard. Oh my gosh, fella, 70s. Some of you guys use the 70s now.
What? Well, do they
None of
use
the
it?
80s. I know the last two.
I think it is.
No, if you say it's
You
G-rated.
turn on the 70s.
Of course it's G-rated. I'm not saying anything bad.
Yeah, those. I mean, I'm not saying you use them, but you've heard them.
How do you
Play
define
Shakespeare?
as in?
Really?
I
Never.
just
Cross.
said, it's like the last two mean the same thing, but listen as if for the same thing.
I did.
Well, yeah, I mean,
They're just
I'm
used in
not
different
original. I mean,
situations.
I got lazy.
That's what you
Have you
would.
given up?
I don't
It says
know.
key.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said keys. I was like, bad means good. Crazy.
What the fuck? If I would say fat city, I wouldn't even know
Like, I
how
have
to
no idea.
respond to that.
Oh, yeah, here's the thing. I mean, once you hear it, you think, oh, God, yeah. Someone says put them down in sentence format, but that would make it too easy. A few more minutes and I'll put you out of your misery.
I got
See if I
like
can get-
context.
Like, that's wicked. Oh, like those commercials.
Oh, okay, yeah, see, if I had context.
See, like that.
Oh.
That's wicked awesome. But
What's the context
Oh, I'm
for
gonna be
armpit?
better at the 1940s than I
Yeah.
am at the 70s.
oh, this is an armpit.
Huh?
Like he said, what's the context for armpit? Like, this is an armpit.
Like it's just.
You would say, wow, this is an armpit. I guess I would say. But how can I say the context?
Yeah.
That's a good. See, that's a good lesson for how to use your voice and everything, right? I mean,
God. Oh, I know this one.
I would say, all right, everyone, this is an armpit. I mean, yeah, you would say it like that. I think Andrew's finished.
They're only like halfway filled in.
Oh, halfway. Oh my God.
Wait, are we stopping any more time?
Oh no, I'll give you a few more minutes. I like to see you suffer a little bit more. But I have the answers, so I used to have the 30s, but that was too tough. But this is what I mean, how it changes, and trust me, there's a lot more out there. And some of these you probably use. Are you all done, Brendan? Yeah, take the powders, not cocaine or anything like that. And that's what everyone thinks. No, I couldn't put down any drug or anything like that. That'd get me in trouble.
So I just got to go through that. This is so. I won't say that words or when. Oh my God. It tastes just
Okay. So, all right. Bad business. Bad business. What is bad business? It's trouble. It's just trouble. Are you in some bad business? That's it. Now, black and white. Black and white is actually some historical background. Black and white is a cop car, police car. Because I understand that back in the day, all cops were just black and white. That's all they're decorated like. No other colors. All right, bust your chops. I'm going to bust your chops.
Give me a hard time.
Yeah, give you a hard time. Scold you. Scold you, give you a hard time. All right. Keeping up with the Joneses.
Living outside the news.
Close.
Trying
Yeah.
to be like someone else.
Yeah, trying to make someone else. Competing socially with neighbors. They get a new car, you gotta get a new car. They go to Disney World, you have to go to Disney World. They get a pool, you gotta get a pool. Yeah, so it's keeping up with someone, with the neighbors, keeping up with someone. All right, cooking with gas. Yeah.
that.
I said asking for trouble.
Well, that'd be good. That would make more sense. It's doing something right. My father always used that one. Now you're cooking with gas. I'm like, we didn't even have a gas oven. I'm like, what the hell is that? Cooking with gas. You're doing something right. All right, decked out. You're all decked out.
Thanks.
Right down.
Fancy, yeah, you're all dressed up. You're all decked out. All right, who wants to take a guess? What are ground grippers?
Shoes.
Shoes.
Oh, nice. I got that one.
Ground grippers are shoes. Some people say they hear this one. All right, what's to hold?
Wait.
To borrow. Can I hold 20?
See, if we had context.
Yeah, but that'd make it too easy.
I was
All right.
thinking stop.
All right, like crazy. Like crazy. When I saw that rabid dog, I ran like crazy. Really fast. Really like crazy. I ran like crazy. Take a powder.
Take a
Yeah.
break.
A break.
To leave. To leave. All right. I wish this class was over so I could take a powder. All right. Armpit. What's armpit, Connor?
Tough situation.
Undesirable place.
Like
A bad place. I mean, now we say, I don't know if I'm being nice, this is the pits, right? So, undesirable place.
Well, I don't know about
No one
that.
says that anymore?
No.
All right, Hinky is nervous. He's hinky.
Suspicious.
I guess you could stretch it out to that. But all right, chrome plated. This one I like. Chrome plated is all dressed up. Yeah, I think in the 50s, all those cars had all that beautiful chrome all over it and everything. So it's all dressed up. All right, a zinger. What's a zinger?
An insult. That's what I
Good
thought, like a
Yeah,
Kodak
yeah.
or like.
Something that gets your attention. Something that gets your attention. Now this one I don't understand. Radioactive. It's like chrome plate. It's very popular. Yeah, very popular. If I saw something radioactive, I'd run the hell away. I
I
wouldn't
put down toxic.
be yeah, well, yeah, very literally. All right, zonk. Zonk is to hit. Zonk is to hit. To hit something. I'm going to zonk. All right, word from the bird is the truth.
Is it gossip?
Yeah, well, the truth. Like the truth. Well, gossip is very often true. All right, goof.
Mistake.
Someone who makes mistakes. Someone who makes a goof. The most
Like extra.
is great. I usually
Yes.
I dig this the most. I like this the most. And go ape.
Go crazy.
Yeah, get excited.
I
Yeah.
got nothing but
All right, 60s. I am stoked. I am
Excited.
excited. Yes. See, Houston uses that one. I'm stoked.
No.
All right. What's your bag? Bag is your favorite
In
thing.
my bag.
Yeah. No, well, your favorite thing. What's your favorite thing? And a bit. What's bit?
It's like
What-
a line.
Like your hobby?
Your hobby. It's like, yeah, what's your role here? What do you do here? What's your bit? Okay, now what's bread?
Is it money?
Money.
Nice.
Oh, I knew that.
Man.
Right, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I was gonna
All right, crazy.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, yeah, that's like surprising. Crazy. All right, Daddy-O.
I had no idea how to explain this. People say
Just a man. Yeah, just a man. So next older guy you see, not me though. Older guy you see, just say, hey, Daddy-O. You do that, Nicole. I'll give you extra points. Daddy-O. All right, heavy.
impulsive.
Cause it's serious, very
Yeah, I was
serious.
about to say something
This
heavy.
is
Yeah,
heavy,
you're
man.
supposed
This
to
is
say
serious. This is serious. All right, this test is killer.
It's tough.
Tough. It's hard.
Oh, I said awesome. Like
that. Right,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe nowadays. Again, these things change. And this is the slide I went to. This one, killer, I remember though. Make the scene.
Overreact.
Show up. To show up. Attend. I'm going to make the scene. That one I remember. And pad.
House.
Your house. This is my pad.
That's so weird.
All right.
Is it?
I don't think so.
I'm all over it. I'm all over it.
Done.
I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm focused
all
now.
over it. Oh,
Yep.
See it. I wouldn't have gotten
What's
that.
bad?
Good.
Good. Bad is good. All right. History. Be history is done. I'm history. I'm gone. That test wasn't killer. It was cake.
Oh,
Easy. Easy.
Why it's like piece of cake? Why didn't you write that?
But then you would have known it. So.
Cake
So-
is cake. When it's out of context.
All right. Well, psyche is like the trick. Like my son will say. Like my son has said, Dad, have you lost weight? Psych. Like that. My son will do
That's
that.
just
That's why I can't.
Yeah, that's what I was
This is
thinking.
psyche. That's like your psyche,
Yeah,
like
that's
your
like
your
like
thoughts.
your-
Well, I've heard it's a psych like that.
No, that's psyche.
not how it's spelled.
That's like the wrong word.
Hey, this is the website I went to, man. This is the website I went to. Okay. How do you spell it? Psyche?
SIKE.
S. How would you know? That's from the 70s. You weren't even.
It's because people still use
People
that.
still
use
Like,
that.
say psych.
I've never seen it spelled out.
It's a good thing it says in your final. You have to throw that question out. Okay, Fat City.
No idea.
Fat City is a great place. A great place. Okay? It's not an armpit. Grease. Grease is the bride. Have you ever heard the term grease and palms?
I
Yeah.
thought that was like
Grease
a
these
person,
cups.
like greasers. You
Oh,
know?
wasn't it?
Like
Well,
that
maybe
was in the
maybe
60s.
it's related to that.
Green ball?
All right, what's mega?
Oh, like
Important?
Big, large, mega. That's mega.
What is that?
Catch you on the flip side.
See you later.
See you later.
Oh, we're then.
All right, scope out.
Look at.
Like to check something out.
Yeah, scope out. See it? Yeah, scope out. Look at. Examine. All right, take a chill pill.
Chill out.
Chill out. Yeah, take a chill out. Chill out. Well, take a chill pill. Chill out. It's not. Yeah, calm down.
I love them.
I'm stoked. Did I have stoked someplace else?
Yeah.
Stoked. Yeah.
Excited.
Excited.
I was like excited.
Brody.
Gross.
Gross.
Yes, gross, disgusting. Bodacious.
Like
big.
extra loud.
Beautiful. That's bodacious. My favorite. Nice place, Shakespeare.
You're being dramatic.
Know-it-all.
That was a stupid thing to do. Usually, say when someone's screwed up, say "nice
Like,
place,
yeah.
Shakespeare."
Let's say like an insult.
Yeah, I heard that one a lot. Okay, major. This is major.
It's like it's big.
Yeah, really cool. That's great. Mint. That is mint.
It's good.
That's good.
Encore.
Excellent. Yes.
That's coming back.
Yeah, that one just came back.
Wicked. What is wicked?
I read it.
What is wicked?
Sick.
Well, yeah, excellent. Sick now. Yeah, that's slang. And bogus. That is bogus. Not good. And as if. No way. Yeah. And you have to say it like that. As if. So you see. Those are examples of slang. Okay. You don't want to use slang. Okay. You don't want to use
Give us all
slang.
these words and now we can't use them? Maybe I want to put Fat City in my next
You
speech.
can
Let's
use
all
them
go
to
around
talk.
today and use slang from the 1950s.
Find out someone who grew up in that era and
Oh,
talk to
anybody
them.
though.
Ask around. I'm sure you'll find someone, or find a stranger and talk to them. Okay. Okay. All right. So now we talk about demographics here. This is only half the picture. Knowing your audience, one thing too I forgot to add, like maybe a survey. Check out surveys. I'm not saying ask your people audience as they walk in, survey them. I'm not saying creepy, but if you find a survey of the audience, someone do that. But now this is only happening. The demographics, knowing like the age, education level, gender, that sort of stuff. That's demographics. That's half the knowing your audience. There's another half. Probably, I don't want to say more important, but very, very important. Okay. Get myself in the room. What do these represent? Can we take a guess?
Plus,
minus.
plus, and
Positive, negative, and equal, ambivalent. They don't care. Okay? You have to know this too about your audience. You'll find out the same way here. Okay? Those are the demographics. This is how they feel about you and the topic. All right? This is their feelings. This is their thoughts, their opinions about you and your topic. Just as important as the demographics, if not more, depending on your topic. All right? If you're giving a speech, a persuasive speech, political speech, sometimes this is more important than that. Okay? So let's look at if I'm giving a speech, at least three, a positive. This is an audience that loves you. They love you. They love what you're saying. They love your message. This is an audience that hates you. All right? They hate you and they hate your message. This is an audience that doesn't care. They're there for the donuts. They just showed up for that. They don't care. Which one of these three do you think is the toughest audience?
The one that doesn't care.
The positive? Yeah. The one that doesn't care. They're the toughest one. Tougher than the one that hates you. Okay? I'm going to give myself a little more room here. The one that doesn't care is probably the more difficult one to give a speech to. All right? So we're going to talk about all three, okay? And how you would approach them, okay? Just in general terms, but how you would approach them, all right? The positive one. Let's start with the nice one first, all right? The positive one. There's not too many times you're going to have an audience that everybody likes you, all right? Everybody likes you. Everybody's going to like what you're saying, okay? And the only example I can really, really think of is maybe, we've watched speeches from those Democratic and Republican conventions, okay? Where they applaud and the applause last maybe 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes, okay? That's a positive audience, and they like the speaker, okay? So let's say we're giving a speech. I'm here and I'm at an election speech, and it's I want you guys to vote for Joan Johnson for mayor. Okay, and I look out the audience, and everyone there is probably going to be voting for Joan Johnson. They're a friend of Joan's, a family member of Joan's, neighbors. Somehow they're related to Joan, and they like her. Okay, so I know this is a positive audience, and I know they're going to like what I'm going to say. So for this group here, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to, still give the main points. I'm still going to do that. I still have to say, okay, this is why you should still vote for Joan. Yeah, I know they are, pretty much. But I'm still going to restate those. There might be a stranger came in looking for another place or something like that for a wedding or something, but they're in our hall. So I'm going to say, okay, this is why we should vote for Joan. This is why she's such a great person. But there's something else I'm going to do. There's something else I want to do, because this is a positive audience. They're all my friends. What do you do with friends? Well, ask for action. Who do you ask to hold $20 from? A friend or an enemy? A friend. You ask someone who doesn't like you for a loan, they're not going to give it to you. I doubt it. All right. You ask someone who likes you, a friend, for something, for money, there's more likelihood that they're going to give it to you. Same thing with a speech. All right. If I'm giving a speech to everyone who likes Joan, I'm going to take advantage of that, right? If you're giving a speech to people who like what you're saying, who like what you're going to ask for action. You're going to ask for them to do something. So, in my case, don't forget to vote for Joan. Campaigns don't run cheap. Donate money. Take some posters. Take some postcards. Take some lawn signs. Do this and this and this. So if I'm talking to a positive audience, people who like what I'm saying, I'm going to repeat those main points, all right? Plus, I'm going to get them to do something. I'm going to ask them for action, all right? We talked about that in your conclusion sometimes. Ask them for action. Call to action. This is when I would do it, especially if it's a positive audience. Do something for me, all right? I'm never going to have that chance again. It doesn't happen very often. So when it happens, take advantage of it, okay? So that's a positive thing. Now, when am I going to be talking to an unfriendly group? I can't think of any, but I'm sure there are, okay? I would still give the main points. Now, are you going to actually move someone from here, point A, to point B? Probably not. Probably not. Hey, you never know, you might. But by restating your points, by stating your arguments, you might get them thinking. You might get someone with an open mind and say, okay, I'll give them that. Okay, she's got some good points, all right? So still state your main points. This is important too. It's awful I have to say it. Be nice. Be nice. Be civil. If for no other reason, you're probably outnumbered, okay? Be nice. Be civil. Don't go in there with attacking them, because again, you're definitely outnumbered, all right? How do I state this? State what's in common. Okay. So I'm from here's an example. I'm from XYZ company. All right, and we are going to bury nuclear waste, radioactive waste in the playground down the street where all your kids play. I'm a community group. So I'm at a community meeting where all you guys are parents and all your kids are going to start glowing in the dark. Okay? Because we're planting radioactive waste in the playground. You guys don't like me. You don't like the group I'm in. Okay? I don't blame you. So I'm up here, and what do? Well, I state my point, but first I'm just like you. I come up here and say, I understand. Yeah, it's important. It's so important for kids to have a place to play. All right. Oh, I forgot to add this. This kind of a corollary here. Acknowledge there argument. This is important. This is important, especially if it's an intelligent audience. I'm going to get back to that. But so, you're an audience of parents, and I'm going to have you guys, your kids, glow in the dark. Okay? So, I'm up here and I'm saying, I understand your point of view. I know where you're coming from. Kids need a place to play. They need a healthy place to play. They got all this energy. They got to go out. They're in bunches. They have to run and jump, and they have to socialize with their friends, and it's so important. I understand that. That's a healthy part of growing up. I understand because I have kids of my own. I do. I have little, Taylor, is 5 and Steven's 3, and boy, I love it when they're playing. And I understand why it's so important. Here's pictures of them. They're the love of my life, and I just adore them. And I know where you're coming from. And we're still going to bury that stuff, and blah blah blah. Okay. So you see where I'm coming from, okay? I'm just like you. We're not enemies, all right? We're not enemies. We have more in common than you think we do, okay? So you try to say, we're not enemies. We're on the same page, all right? We're just approaching it differently. Now, acknowledging their argument. Why do you acknowledge their argument? And especially for a more knowledgeable, intelligent audience. Why? Because the whole time you're giving your speech, you know, they're formulating their argument. They're coming back with a rebuttal, okay? You're giving your speech, and you're giving all these reasons why they should do this. In their minds, they're thinking, no, this is why. Think about if you wanted to go to a party. And at John's house over the weekend, on Saturday night. And your parents are going to say no because they're afraid there's going to be drinking there. Because John's parents might not be there, okay? So, you want to make sure from the very beginning that they're not going to bring up that argument. So, when you ask them if you can go, in your request, you bring up their argument. I know you're concerned there's going to be drinking, all right? But just to let you know, John's parents are going to be there the whole time, and they're going to keep an eye on things, okay? Well, now, what have you done? You've kind of cut them off at the knee, right? What's their response going to be? Well, what about drinking? Is there going to be drinking there? Well, no, because like I told you, you can have the satisfaction of saying, no, I told you, okay? John's parents are going to be there the whole time, and they're going to be keeping an eye on things, okay? So you acknowledge their argument, okay, probably their best argument, and then you cut it off, okay? So, but that's if you're speaking to an unfriendly audience, okay? I can't think of a time you're going to be speaking to a friendly, unfriendly audience. It's probably going to happen more often than this one, okay? Now, I'm going through this quickly, okay? Friendly, unfriendly, this one, the most difficult. The one that doesn't care. Why? Because they're on their phones, okay? They're looking out the windows, okay? They're doing everything but they're listening to you. And like we said when we talked about introductions, it's so damn hard to get your audience's attention, okay? So yeah, you'd rather have them hate you than not pay attention to you, all right? I mean, like we talked about my interpersonal class. If you really want to tick someone off, don't argue with them, ignore them, okay? Don't talk to them, all right? That's really the worst thing. So yeah, this audience doesn't care. So how do you make them care? How do you make them care? All right, well,
Attention getting open.
what's that?
I thought you were going to say an attention getting open.
Well, you do that. Yeah, you definitely have an attention-getting introduction, for sure. You definitely do that. But even after that, you create a need. So, we're back to John Smith, or Joan Johnson, running for mayor. Okay? I'm giving a speech to college students who, unfortunately, don't really care too much about politics. Okay? So, you guys don't care. You're on your phone, texting, doing whatever, talking, doing everything. So I've got to get your attention. So what do? Boy, I remember my days in college. Some of the finest days of my life. Some of the most fun days. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was so great. I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you're getting everything you can out of your college days. Because boy, when you graduate, man, life hits you like a ton of bricks. And I hope you enjoy living with your parents because that's where you're going to go back. Because the best job you're going to get is going to be out of McDonald's or Burger King. Because there ain't nothing out there, guys. Nothing. So, kiss that college dream goodbye. All you're going to do is put that thing on your wall and look at it. That's it. I was just making that up. Okay, so don't get freaking out. Okay. So anyway, but that's it. So you're your audience, and you're like thinking, oh my God, what did he just say? oh my God. And suddenly if they're paying attention, they're thinking, wow. I've created a need, all right? Panic, maybe. I've created a need. The audience is thinking, what? I can't have that. I can't have that. So you create a need, all right? You talk about something, global warming, this, violence, some terrible thing. And then what do? Is hopefully you've created a need, a great enough need, that you've got the audience's attention. They weren't paying attention before. They didn't care. But you've created a need, and now they're paying attention. Well, we'll talk about again later, but ethically, then you fill the need. All right? So I don't leave my audience just laying there. I'm like, but you know what? Joan Johnson's got the answer. Joan's economic plan is going to do this and this and this, and she's going to make sure that every one of you has a job when you get out of school. Blah, blah, blah. She's going to force employers to do this and this and this and this. And you're all going to have great jobs waiting for you when you graduate from school. Right? So you create a need, and then you fill the need. Okay? So if you're talking to an audience that's here. So, and this is probably very often the most typical audience you're going to face. That's why we're going to talk about persuasive speaking, why it's so important to create that need. Okay? We're going to focus on that more when we get to that type of speech. Any questions on what we've covered? Can't emphasize enough why it's so important to know who your audience is, especially if you have no idea who you're talking to. By now you know who your class is. I mean, right? I mean, again, I've mentioned it enough. But, 10 years from now, when Andrew gets a call, Andrew, we need you to give a speech to this group. Okay, you've got to find out who are they? What do they know about the topic? A lot of times you can't find what's their education level, how many men and women. That's kind of too government creepish, okay? But you can find out as much as you can. As much information as you can find, you find it and you use it, okay? You have to. Audience is going to appreciate it, and you're going to give a better speech. Any questions? Okay, I'll see you on Thursday.
Good luck with today's lesson.